Hey everybody, Dr. Andy here from Chiropractic with another episode of the Wellness Lifestyle Connection. And today, like I mentioned in the last video, we are going to take a look at some kind of natural things, natural choices that you can do as a parent to try to help out your kiddo that might be struggling with ADD or ADHD. So, here we go. Okay, so last video we talked a lot about how chiropractic care can help regulate some of the physical and neurological components of your kiddo's ADD and ADHD symptoms and how it can affect that. So today we're going to talk way more about just general lifestyle, environmental choices that you can make to help address some of the same issues, the same symptoms. So obviously step number one, I'm going to come back to it one more time, is get your kiddo, or again, adult with ADD and ADHD, get evaluated by a chiropractor and have your nervous system checked out. So that's number one. But then there's a whole bunch of things related to food, mainly revolving around checking on food allergies. So gluten, dairy, eggs, and trying to eliminate those things. Here at Paul Chiropractic, we do food allergy tests. It's just a little finger prick test. We send it out to the lab, and we get the results back in a couple weeks, and it gives you a list of the things that you have sensitivities to. So that is one thing that's pretty important because if you're eating, so if let's say you're allergic to dairy, or you're sensitive to dairy, and you're eating that all the time, because a lot of kids love dairy, and you're eating that all the time, that's just constant stress and inflammation on your system. So that constant stress on the system just aggravates everything. So that was number one. And number two, try to pick mostly organic, natural foods, avoiding processed foods that are heavy on food additives and dyes and that kind of stuff. And then also reducing sugar, which again kind of goes back to processed foods mostly. Most processed foods add a ton of sugar or sugar substitutes to try to make them sweeter and more palatable. So try to avoid those as much as possible. With some kiddos with sensory processing issues, we realize that's not an option. Maybe the only thing they'll eat is chicken nuggets or something like that. They got to eat, so you do what you got, do what you can. But as much as you can limit those things, try to. Same thing goes for household cleaners and that kind of shampoos and all those kind of things. Try to stick with more natural, more natural stuff. That seems, kind of like a no-brainer. But at the same time, different additives are so pervasive in household cleaners and those kind of things that they can be kind of tough to avoid. So you got to kind of watch out for those kind of stuff. Other things, encouraging exercise, outdoor times so they get natural sunlight, vitamin D. Speaking of vitamin D, supplementation with things like fish oils, vitamin D, probiotics, just kind of a general multivitamin can also be really helpful. And then probably the last thing I want to mention is just less time spent in front of devices. And again, as much as possible. I'm a parent, I get it. Letting the kid watch a thing on the tablet or something, sometimes a stress relief for you, right? So I understand how that goes, but as much as possible, try to limit it, especially before bedtime or before you want them to do an activity that you want them to be able to focus on, because that extra stimulation makes it really tough to fall asleep at night and then to focus right afterward. So, and then I guess one more thing I want to mention too is don't give up. Making lifestyle changes is tough. So try to find things that you can do that you can do and you can handle and you can make last, and see how things change. And as things do, add things, take things out. See what works for you guys. That's the most important thing, is see what works for your family. With all that said, that is it for today. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Get out there, live life awesome, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.